Hi, and thanks for logging on to the Daily DVAR Halacha. And here's a brand new halacha for you, and it is for Tuesday, June 4th, Rosh Chodesh Sivan. Okay, don't forget, starting Monday night and all day Tuesday, all of your Rosh Chodesh additions in your davening. It's a one-day Rosh Chodesh. We're going to tell you now why Shavuos is the holiday of cheesecake. Well, actually, Shavuos is not the holiday of cheesecake. People just make that mistake and they think that there's some kind of like, thou shalt eat cheesecake on Shavuos. There's no such law, okay? There is a custom to eat dairy on the holiday of Shavuos. In a minute, we're going to explain to you why. And a delicious dairy food is cheesecake, so cheesecake became very popular on the holiday of Shavuos. But nowhere in our laws does it say that thou shalt eat cheesecake on Shavuos. Just wanted to make that clear. Now for some of the famous reasons about why we eat dairy foods on Shavuos. Perhaps the most famous one is this. You see, the Jewish people, when they got the Torah on the day of Shavuos. And all of a sudden, bam, a whole lot of new laws went into effect. One of them was that when you want to start eating meat from now on, you have to do a proper shechita. You have to slaughtering the animal in the ritual way. You also have to salt it such that all the blood comes out of the animal, rinse the meat in a certain special way and all that. And anything that didn't have that done was considered totally non-kosher. So you see, the Jews had been living a normal life until then, not necessarily doing all these things. And suddenly, once they got the Torah, all these laws went into effect. Which means that on the holiday of Shavuos, that first time that they got the Torah, all of their pots were treif. So all the meat foods that they would have wanted to cook on that Yom Tov, they wouldn't be allowed to cook. So suddenly there was a great question of like, what do we eat? And the only way they were able to eat was to eat more simple foods and eat dairy foods, because all their meat pots and preparation things were treif, and they would have to do a whole lot of work to get them all ready. Okay, so therefore they had to eat dairy on that first Shavuos. Hence we remember that by eating some dairy meals on the holiday of Shavuos, and cheesecake is just a famous dairy food. Okay, that's reason number one. Rav Sternbuch gives a reason, which is going to sound a little bit like somewhat reversed, but this is his interesting reason, based on a Gemara in Brachos, on Davav Amud Beis. And it is that the Jewish people, before they got the Torah, were considered Bnei Noach, children of Noach. Everybody was a child of Noach, and they had the laws that were given to all the children of Noach. 7 laws had been given to the children of Noach, which included the Jews, and one of those 7 laws was that you're not allowed to eat aver min hachai, anything taken from an animal while the animal was still alive. Well, guess what? Milk is something taken from an animal while it was still alive. So they were not allowed to eat any milk at first, and it only became permissible when the holiday of Shavuos finally arrived. They were so happy to have it by that time. And so dairy became the big thing after that, which they could now start eating, because God said, I know when you were Bnei Noach, you were treating milk as aver min hachai, and you weren't eating it, but now it's totally permissible, and boom, that hit on Shavuos. So it sort of kind of became the holiday that they were so anxious to eat dairy, and so we commemorate that. Another famous reason is because there's a pasuk in Shir Hashirim, the Song of Songs, that says that Torah is like honey and milk under your tongue. Just as milk sustains us, so too Torah sustains us. And we like to show that by showing our, eating dairy foods and saying, well, dairy is just this sustaining thing that's so delicious to us and important to us. So is Torah. That's another reason why we eat dairy foods on the holiday of Shavuos. Also, the gematria of chalav, the word milk, is 40. And that 40 is representative of the 40 days that Moshe was at the top of Har Sinai, getting the Torah. Also, there were 40 generations from when Moshe got the Torah all the way until Ravina and Ravashi, 40 generations later, wrote it all down as Gemara, and that's alluded to also by the word chalav, which has a numerical value of 40. Okay, those are some famous reasons about why we eat dairy foods and cheesecake on the holiday of Shavuos. Thanks for logging on. Log on again tomorrow for more. Bye-bye.